The media party gets bored of Mike Duffy. I'm Brian Lilley with TheRebel.Media. Do you remember when the Mike Duffy trial was the biggest thing ever? Like the biggest trial of the century, the biggest political story ever to happen in the nation's capital? Well, no more. They've kind of gotten bored of it. I remember when Duffy's trial started back in April. The throng of reporters and cameras so big, people were being knocked over. The rush to get a picture of Duffy as he walked to the courtroom was crazy. I've covered a lot of political events, a lot of trials. This was something else, let me tell you. And now, it's a much smaller media contingent following Duffy around. And when it comes to actual coverage, they kind of got to it eventually on CBC's The National last night, the state broadcaster's flagship newscast, about 15 minutes in. And here's how senior correspondent Terry Milescu described it.
Well, Peter, it used to be about scandal and skullduggery in high places. But now, after the fall of Stephen Harper's government, the Duffy trial is just a rather grubby fraud case.
It's all very disappointing for what was supposed to be such an important trial, but it was only an important trial, really, while they were going after the main target. And the main target was Stephen Harper. Listen to Susan Delacourt on CTV's Power Play, talking about how she's just kind of bored with the whole thing now.
In August, I was riveted to every day of the testimony, and today I felt I could miss it. You know, it was, it wasn't, if it wasn't going to lure Harper in, and I think Bob may be right, we may have learned just about all we need to know already. I think we know how shoddy this was.
And over at CBC's Power and Politics, their political chat show, same thing. Althea Raj from Huffington Post, one of the most devoted followers of the Duffy trial, yawn. Jerry Kaplan, a NDP person that they for some reason put on CBC, he's yawning too.
It definitely does not have the same weight that it had 2 months ago. It's not going to affect the outcome of an election, and it's definitely not going to affect this Liberal government.
If I didn't know Mike for so many years and still liked him as an old friend, I'd say, who's Mike Duffy? This trial is going to disappear into the nethers very, very, very soon.
Now that they've admitted they don't really care about the Duffy trial, they should admit why they cared about it before, bringing down the Harper government. That's what it was always about. Mac Harb, he's accused of taking far more money than Mike Duffy, but he's a Liberal senator. You can be guaranteed he will not get the same kind of scrutiny, the same kind of coverage as Mike Duffy got, even though there's a Liberal government in charge now, even though a Liberal government appointed him, even though he was in a previous Liberal government. None of that's going to matter. Mike Duffy was, well, he was a way to get at Stephen Harper, and it worked. So now the media party can move on and find something else to talk about. Maybe selfies with Trudeau.